What is up, guys, and welcome back to our St. Louis Blues Fantasy Draft Franchise Mode. We are in the playoffs, and we are in the second round. I'm cranking out these videos right now just because of how easy it is to do these the playoff episodes. You just go in and sim a couple games, and that is it. So, first round, we beat the Edmonton Oilers in 5 games. It was not a very close series. We pretty much gave up that game played horribly, but every other game we handled it pretty well. So let's take a look at the Minnesota Wild. AHL playoffs first round is over. Who are the Wolves playing? The Wolves are playing the Manitoba Moose. Uh, Probably one of the best AHL team names in the AHL. So here's what the attributes look like. The Wild 91, 92, 86. We are 93, 92, 87. So we have advantages on offense and goalie, and the defense is even. But they got Steven Stamkos, but we have Erik Karlsson. So let's take a look at their lines and how they performed in round one. So no line changes for us. I considered doing something with that second line just because they did not really show up for that last series, but that's okay because we still won in 5, won handily. I'll give them a chance here in the second round. So let's go right into the Wild's lineup. Here's what it looks like. They got Mitch Marner on the left side as a right wing, Steven Stamkos and Blake Wheeler. Pretty damn good top line. Definitely any line with Steven Stamkos in it is going to be fantastic. Second line, Chris Kreider, Valtteri Filppula, and Connor Sheary. Not a bad second line, pretty average. Our second line is similar to that if they decide to show up this series. Third line, they got Matt Bolesky on the left wing, Melker Karlsson, and Tommy Wingels. So once again, pretty similar third line to us. Pretty average. Guys averaging around 84 overall. But their fourth line is where they are weak. They got Zach Sanford on the left side, Kyle Brodziak, and Colton Sissons on the right side. So there's Brodziak. He's probably going to come back to bite us in this playoff series. Probably going to score a couple of game winners, maybe even an overtime winner, to really piss us off for making those trades. And we'll see if our guys that we traded them on defense are still there. So I'm assuming this top line. Actually, let's go to the goalie real quick. Jake Allen is their goalie. So lots of Blues connections on this fucking Minnesota Wild. That's their team name. On this Minnesota Wild team. Jake Allen played in 5 games, got 4 wins, 9.27 and a 2.37 GAA. So he has better stats than Matt Murray through round 1. Both teams played 5 games. And Malcolm Subban did not see the ice. So they got 5 games played as well. Let's see what their forwards did in those 5 games. The first line, 4, 4, and 3. So their first line was not outstanding in that round 1 against the Predators. Their second line, 4, 2, and 3, pretty much about the same as the first line, but that's a much better performance that you want to see out of your second line than your first. Third line, 1, 1, and 1, and fourth line, 0, 1, and 1. So they're not getting any scoring from their bottom 6. That can be something we can exploit in that we are rolling 4 lines of guys that can score and produce offensively. So we have an advantage in the bottom 6. They might have a better first line, but I think our forwards overall are better. On defense, yep, they got Markov right there. Throw him into the second line of their lineup. But the first line, Savard and Hamilton. A pretty good top pairing. Dougie Hamilton, as you can see, 5 or 4.5 stars all the way across. Looks like David Savard's more of a defensive guy. Then their second line, they got Kulikov and Markov. So they got the Russian connection there on that second line. Pretty defensive guys, but as we know, as we've had him on our team, Andrei Markov is pretty damn good offensively as well, listed as an offensive defenseman. So their third pairing, Simone Dupre and Jordy Ben. Pretty average third pairing at 84 and 83 overall. Nothing spectacular there. Dupre's eyes are way too far apart. That's kind of creeping me out if you look at his picture. So that's what they look like. Let's check out their points. So 0 and 4. Yeah, so Dougie Hamilton's scoring points for him offensively. On their second line, 0 and 1. So Markov's only got 1 point in 5 games. Dupre and Ben also 0 and 1. So nothing on their team is really scaring me outside of Steven Stamkos. And hopefully we can exploit Jake Allen and exploit their lack of offensive depth. And I'm predicting a 6 or 7 game series win for us. Hopefully it doesn't go 7. I'd prefer us get out of this series as quickly as possible. Reduce the chances that we are royally fucked by the trade we made for a first round pick. That could be seen as a mistake, especially considering that we're going to be contenders and we're going to be headed to the playoffs to trade NHL ready assets to a division opponent that we could very well see in the playoffs, and we did. Oh well, that happened. So the power play, we don't get anything done, but we are outshooting the hell out of them in this first period, and we get a goal from Radim Verbata. My God, shots were 18-4 in that first period. Do we have any other power plays? Nope, just the one. Brodzak got a penalty, so maybe he's a double agent for us. We'll have to see as this series goes on. Maybe he takes a bunch of penalties and lets us score some power play goals. So 18-4 on shots in the first period. We're outscoring them 1-0, and Verbata scores once again. 2-0. What angle is that shot from? I don't know. We're out shooting them by 23. I think we can only make one conclusion from that stat, and that is that we're going to lose this game. Because you only lose games when you outshoot, or when you outshoot teams by 23 through 2 periods, you can only lose. It makes no sense, but at the same time, it makes perfect sense, if you know what I mean. So we're on the penalty kill. It's a long one, and there goes Steven Stamkos on the power play. We took multiple penalties there, as they had quite a bit of time on a 5-on-3 and quite a bit of time on the power play. Can we close this game out? We're still outshooting them by 20-plus shots, and 1 minute left. Come on, guys. And Sanheim gets an empty netter. There we go. All right, so we outshot them by 23 and outscored them by 2. Who took those penalties? So Bo Bennett and Tyler Toffoli took penalties that led to Minnesota's only goal in Game 1. I would imagine that, yeah, Jake Allen right there, second star. I was going to say I'd imagine Jake Allen got a star, considering how many shots we put on net and how few goals we scored. So Verbata, a 3-point game. Mike Fisher, 2-point game. That fourth line, so there you go. Like I said, our advantage in this series is going to be our depth scoring, and yeah, that was our advantage that game, as we got 2 goals from that bottom line. All right, second game. Game 2, we got a 1-0 series lead. Still in St. Louis. First period, they get one from Chris Kreider, as we are only outshooting them by 1, but they have the lone goal. Second period, okay, all right. Bolesky and Marner get goals. They're still only outshooting us by 1, but Matt Murray is letting everything in right now. Let's go ahead and start this third period. Get this over as soon as possible. We're probably out of this game, especially since we did not score on that long power play. That is unfortunate. I need water. All right, so we're going to get shut out in this game too and lose home ice advantage all in one fell swoop. Nope, Toffoli gets one late on Jake Allen. So a little bit of pride there. I would imagine Jake Allen would still be the first star for the Minnesota Wild, and he is, followed by Marner and Kreider, who added a goal apiece. So we lost home ice advantage, headed to Minnesota with a tied series. Not what you want to see, but if you look around the league, every single road team won Game 1. So it could be better. We definitely have room for improvement. We need Matt Murray to be. Oh man, the Wolves are down 2. We need Matt Murray to be more solid than he was in that Game 2. Yeah, so let's just get right into Game 3. Hopefully we don't fuck up. And there we go. Ryan Murray and Thomas Vanek both get goals. We're out shooting them by 5. So second period. All right, there we go. Ribeiro, and Vanek. So, like I said, boys, give that second line a chance. Vanek scores another one. That's a Hattie, isn't it? So that second line has 5 goals this game. Jesus. And we ran, and Sam Bennett gets one. We ran Vasilevsky from the net. He is chilling in his backup goalie's stool on the Minnesota bench as Filppula ruins the shutout. But there we go. That second line, I said give them a chance since we handled round 1 so well. Give them a chance to come into their own and see the regular season success they were having. See that into the playoffs. and they did more than that in this game as Vanek put up 5 points, Ribeiro 4, Benino with a hat trick of helpers, Thomas Vanek with a hattie. What a game from both Vanek and Mike Ribeiro. Offensive explosion from them. Hopefully they didn't use it all up in this game, and hopefully they can sprinkle it out into the rest of the series. Scouting, I don't even know where to go. We're just gonna go, I guess, Sweden. Yeah, why not Sweden? 3 weeks in Sweden on their forwards, and then we'll do 3 weeks Sweden on their defense later. And Chicago came back and won Game 3, so hopefully they can close out close out the comeback on the Manitoba Moose as we go to Game 4 here in Minnesota. First period. All right, Beauchemin and Bolesky get goals. So Matt Bolesky coming up big for the Wild. He's got 2 goals thus far this series. And Beauchemin gets his name on the board as the only guy who didn't score in the first series. He gets a goal here in Game 4. Second period, Carlson and Aginla. So there we go. Now we're getting scoring from that third line as well as Erik Karlsson. Outshooting them by 3, outscoring them by 2. Can we close out this game and head back to St. Louis with potential to close out the series there? So Matt Murray has been more than solid these past 2 games. Motherfucker, why'd I say that? Blake Wheeler gets a power play goal. Come on, Matt Murray. Words of encouragement. There we go. Erik Karlsson scores again on Jake Allen. As Erik Karlsson gets the hattie on Jake Allen. He scored from past the red line. Gotta love it from EA. Absolute garbage. If you watch my Bruins series, we got scored on from past the red line, and I was about to lose my shit. But luckily we won that game, so I didn't have to. And this goal was fairly meaningless in the grand scheme of things as Erik Karlsson completes his hat trick. And we have the opportunity to close out this series in St. Louis Game 5. Your first star, Erik Karlsson with 4 points. Matt Murray, second star, and Mike Ribeiro with another 2 assists to add in this Game 4. So what we're seeing from this series is Erik Karlsson flashing his offensive potential. Our second line's coming up huge, even though they disappeared in the first series, as the Chicago Wolves have tied up their series against the Manitoba Moose. Let's get right into Game 5, boys. We can win the series right here. Oh, that's a fantastic first period in terms of trying to win the series from goals from Marleau, Verbata, and Erik Karlsson. So Erik Karlsson is going absolute ape shit right now in this series against the Wild. So second period, they get one back from Tommy Wingels. That's okay. Outshooting them by 1, outscoring them by 2, and Mitchell Marner gets a goal real quick, and Bolesky ties it up. Jesus Christ, Matt Bolesky from the right half boards. All right, so even game. It's a new game. We've had a power play for about 15 minutes there and could not score a goal. Come on, boys. We just need one more here to end the series, and we're on the penalty kill. There we go. We killed it off. Killed it off. Matt Murray killed off that penalty for us. All right. Getting outshot by 4, heading into overtime. Next goal wins it. If we score, that will be the series. Don't know what to say. Just don't know what to say. Be nice to see our first line, actually. And thank you, EA, as Malcolm Subban was in the net for some reason. Not sure why. Did they pull Vasilevsky in the first? Or have I been saying Vasilevsky? Shit. They pulled Jake Allen earlier in this series, and they pulled him here in the first period. And we scored on Malcolm Subban in overtime from Tyler Toffoli. As I say that we need our first line to show up, we get a goal from our first line. So the 3 stars, Erik Karlsson with another multi-point game, Toffoli goal and assist, and Tommy Wingels for the Wild was your first star with a goal and an assist. All right, there we go. Beat Edmonton in 5, beat Minnesota in 5. We are absolutely rolling, boys, and we're going to get an underdog here in the third round, as both the Flames and the Sharks were upset fairly quickly, as the Wolves are on their last breath there. Both the Flames and the Sharks were upset fairly quickly in the first round by the Ducks and the Jets. We will be playing the Anaheim Ducks in the Western Conference Finals. All right. So yeah, that's great. And I just hit me that earlier in this video, or at the end of last video, I said that the Blues and the Wild were meeting again. NHL 17 got it right, and that that the Wild manhandled the Blues and in the second round of the playoffs. And for some reason, I mixed up the Wild and the Predators. Obviously, the Blues manhandled the Wild in the first round of the NHL playoffs in 2017, and just like we did there in the second round of this simulation. So I apologize for that. When I'm recording these videos, my mind is going about 500 miles an hour, and my mouth is going about 1,000 miles an hour. So sometimes I just say things without thinking, and just like the first thing that pops into my head, I say it. So that is that. That's a disclaimer. That's what you'll see throughout all of my videos. So yeah, we got the Anaheim Ducks in the Western Conference Finals. The Ducks made it back, just like in real life, but instead of the Predators, we were getting the St. Louis Blues. In the Eastern Conference, we see the Lightning and the Capitals. So we're going to take a look at our team stats, and then we're going to call it a video. And so yeah, look into our player stats here. And through 10 playoff games, Erik Karlsson with 13 points. He has been absolutely huge for us in the playoffs thus far. Toffoli point a game, and then Draisaitl 9. And then Forsberg way down here at 6. Forsberg is a -6. So Philip Forsberg has been a liability for us thus far. Hopefully he can turn around his playoff performance. But the first line actually is our only negative line. Wow, that's incredible. So outside of that, Vanek 7, Ribeiro, Verbata, Fisher all at 7, Vanek 8, Ribeiro, Verbata, Fisher all at 7. So they came back. Or they came up big for us there at one point. Verbata and Fisher are not on a line with Ribeiro. Verbata and Fisher are on a line with Sam Bennett, who had 6 points. So they came up big, the fourth line there. Yeah, so way down here we got Aginla, Marlowe, and Williams as our third line with 4, 4, and 3 points each. They are not playing too well. I'm actually moved them down to the fourth line. We'll have to see. That's something I'll consider heading into the next video. And then Bonino with 5 points. And he is on a line with Ribeiro with 7 points and Vanek with 8. Looking at our plus-minus category, Fisher, Verbata, Bennett. So that's that fourth line is our biggest plus guys, and then our top defensive pairing, our second defensive pairing there. As I am running out of things to say, head to the goalie stats. Look at Matt Murray with a 2.28 GAA and a 92% save percentage. So both of those numbers went up in that second round in comparison to the first round. So that's really good to see from him. And yeah, so that's gonna be it for this video. Another game 5, 5-game series win for us here in St. Louis. We will be playing the Anaheim Ducks next series. Another home ice advantage game, but the Ducks are not too bad. Only 9 less points than us on the regular season. So I'll start next video with us looking at the Anaheim Ducks lines and their performance so far in the postseason. And as always, if you like this video, or if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Leave comments down below what you want to see from me for this next video and in the future. So yeah, tune in next time when we take on the Anaheim Ducks and hopefully beat their ass on our way to the Stanley Cup Final.